To some of their peers, spending all this money and effort on a car with no street cred to begin with is crazy. Ultimately, Steve and Rich could change everything on the car, but they can't change the number plate.
Well, you get some people who won't like it, but, you know, if we all like the same thing, it'd be pretty boring. One of the reasons why we chose the 1302 is it's a bit different to the norm. We're just trying to modernise it. The interior in the dash is going to be chopped around quite a bit, so wouldn't really want to do it to like a 50s or an early 60s car.
By the late 70s, mainstream production shifted to South America. This final edition of the Bug was produced in Mexico and limited to only 3,000.
This is what they call an Ultimate Edition Beetle. Made in Mexico, 2003, the very last Beetle ever made on the planet.
With this model, VW made every effort to combine the best of old and new technologies.
Catalytic converter, believe it or not. That's how modern they are.
Compared to any other car for 10 grand, you couldn't do better than this. They hold their money better than anything on the road. But you don't get much for your 10 grand. You get a Beetle, basically.
By the time production halted, over 21.5 million Beetles were produced.
The Mexican government passed legislation overnight that all taxis had to have 4 doors, and it killed the market for the Beetle instantly because they used to use these as taxis in Mexico City.
Steve's worked every available hour on the car, but has fallen some way short of his targets.
Like, they've got all the welding finished, and made a good start on sand and the filler. But Rich been away with his wedding, I've been away for work, so it's one of them things.
Soon the Bug will be collected by VW specialist Lee Sutherton, who'll take it back to his place in Birmingham for some custom fabrication. Steve's completed the steering conversion, but hasn't been able to finish the body shell.
Hopefully he'll see the potential in it. A bit nervous about what he'll think. But, I don't know.
Lee's arrived bang on time.
Think about how long you want to build a project and treble it, because that's the time you really need to build a project properly.
The boys hope to get the Bug ready for Le Bug Show in Belgium, the biggest VW event in Europe, but it's now only 2 months away.
Hello, mate.
All right.
You right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Lee's initial inspection is promising.
It's all kind of structurally sound though, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I have seen worse cars and we've done worse cars. You've got to go some, haven't you?
Yeah.
Time scale is really, really tight. It needs a miracle, not a mechanic.
The boys want an LCD screen and games console fitted, so it's a good chance to swap a few more ideas. But Lee's spotted a problem with the right-hand drive conversion that will need addressing.
Yeah.
This big brace won't do its job, because it will only ever be as strong as the little weld round there. I'm not putting any of my work to that, so I'll take that out. There's things on it that possibly need a little bit of altering, but I mean, generally, it's fine. You've got to remember, you can only do what you can do. The cars are like 30 years old or getting onto them.
Fully finished it won't be until pretty close.
It'll be just before you get in the shower to drive there.
After the break, Lee starts on the final custom work while the boys get a lesson from a master engine builder. But have they thrown in the towel?
Help.
With his project partner Rich away on honeymoon, Steve has been struggling to get the body shell of their 1971 Beetle into shape.
It's getting there, slowly.
It's been handed over to professional restorer Lee Sutherton for some custom modifications.
It needs a miracle, not a mechanic.
But he'll have his work cut out, giving their unfashionable 1302 some street cred. And with a cruise to a top show in Belgium planned in only 2 months' time, the boys will need to get a move on. With the shell in Lee's capable hands, Steve's setting up for an engine masterclass.
Junk type.
He's known top engine builder Laurie Pettit for years.
What I like to do is I like to look at things and say, oh, that still looks useful. Why throw it away?
He's built Steve a few engines in the past, and he's doing him a big favour by coming down from Scotland to show him how to put one together.
He does do some engine build things at shows, but it's the first time he's ever actually come to anyone's house to do it.
Rich is back from his honeymoon and eager to get stuck in.
If I had the money, I'd just buy a new one because I can't be bothered.
Being a bit of a one-off, Steve's invited some fellow club members around to share the experience.
Come on, you boys!
It's like having a permanent youth club around the place. They're just obsessive geeks, they can't help it, they just love it so much.
Before he starts the new build, Laurie plans to strip apart the original engine off the 1302, and he'll show the live patio audience just how much they could save from salvaging old parts. The bodywork has arrived at Lee's base in Brum. Lee thinks the work will take around a week and £1,000 of the lad's budget. They've spent £1,000 on parts, so there's only £3,000 left in the kitty.
1, 2, 3.
The engine and bodywork were the lad's key considerations when attempting a project of this size on a £5,000 budget. They've saved themselves around £5,000 doing the welding themselves, and roughly the same amount not having to buy a new high-performance engine.
That's it, lovely job, Lee.
Easy now.
Lee's main job is to fabricate a new dashboard with some hidden goodies built in.
Steve's idea is he wants all the dashboard smoothing off right across. We're going to put an LCD that flips down here and a games console up here that will eject downwards to change the disc. So when you look in, it'll look all standard, but when you turn the ignition on, it'll all come to life.
Lee's had a bit more time to assess what's been done and what is left to do.
I thought they'd have all the bodywork finished. To get that car done in, what, 8 to 9 weeks left? No, we'd struggle to do that in a fully equipped workshop. If they can do it, well, fair play to them.
Back in the garden, Laurie starts